there's no way. I'm already still burning. So hold me close, now baby. I do what I'm told, still learning to take my chances, to take my time, to keep on dancing, to walk that line, yeah. You got me shifting the paradigm, no longer wishing. You're my lucky strike, love the way you ride. Look into my eyes, say you're ready to go. $1 million life, yeah. We could roll the dice. Act like you're surprised, but you already know. Oh yeah, got lucky overnight. Jackpot when I got the invite. Let me wrap my arms around you, cause I can't go home without you. And my heart just vibe with you, babe. Wanna go sky high with you, babe. Gotta bring you close to tell you that you're my lucky strike. And I got to tell you, if you didn't know, then I got to tell you that you're my lucky strike. And I got to tell you, if you didn't know, then I got to tell you that you're my lucky strike. Cooler than cold, I'm all in. So load up the dice, so heavy. The way that you roll, I'm falling. So I never fall, I'm ready to take my chances, to take my time, to keep on dancing, to walk that line, yeah. You got me shifting the paradigm, no longer wishing. You're my lucky strike, love the way you ride. Look into my eyes, say you're ready to go. $1 million life, yeah. We could roll the dice, yeah. Act like you surprised, but you already know. You're my lucky strike, and I got to tell you, if you didn't know, then I got to tell you that you're my lucky strike. And I got to tell you, if you didn't know, then I got to tell you that you're my lucky strike. I can't let you go, there's no way. I'm already still burning. So hold me close, now baby. I do what I'm told, still learning to take my chances, to take my time, to keep on dancing, to walk that line, yeah. You got me shifting the paradigm. No.
Well, hello, folks. You know you're in for a treat when you hear that tune, because it's time for another week of the RecPoker podcast. This is episode 561. This is the chats edition. We also have a forums edition every week, just talking strategy. I'm your host, Jim Reed, Bluffsterini in the home game, and at RecPoker Jim on Twitter. And I have the best freaking job in the world, as you know, talking poker with my friends here on the podcast every Monday night at 7:30 Eastern, live on YouTube. You can join us for free every week and win a prize just for joining up. We're going to talk to our guest Shimpei Adachi in a moment, but first I have to thank our sponsors, the Running Aces Hotel, Racetrack, and Casino, just an hour north of the Twin Cities in Minnesota. You can find out more about them at runaces.com. Because most of what we do here is free. We're a largely volunteer-based organization, so we depend on support from our sponsors and also from our premium members who take part in our training material and study opportunities for only $15 a month. So I hope that we get to share. Actually, we've had a few new premium members over the last week, but I haven't had a chance to get them all set up yet. So I'll save shouting them out to next week. But thanks to some new premium members for your support. It makes a big difference for what we're doing here. And if anyone else, most of what we do, you can enjoy for free. Just sign up with an email address and a smile at rec.poker. But if you want to go premium, you can use the code RecPoker at checkout and get your first month for only $5. Now, we're going to get on with Shimpei in just a moment. But first, they let me host the show on Mondays, but I'm just one man. And it takes a group, a gang, a crew to make the magic happen around here. We call this group of wizards the Wrecking Crew. And if you want to find out more about me or the rest of the Wrecking Crew, you can head to rec.poker/crew, or you can just listen up because you're going to meet a few of them right here on the air, starting with none other than our producing co-host, Chris Jones.
Well, I'm Chris Jones. You can find me 5B5 on Twitter or 5x5 in the PokerStars home game. And I help run our monthly deep dive study topic where we look at one topic in poker and kind of dive in a little deep on the subject. So tune in if you're a premium member for that every month.
And I'm John Somsky, also known as Poker Geek MN Everywhere. And I run our home games, which are known as the toughest play money home games in the universe.
And I'm Keith Brandt. That's Monkey System, just about everywhere. And I run Monkey's off-table tools every month. And that's where we do some drills using different off-table tools like Range Trainer Pro and Advanced Poker Training.
I'm Rob Washam. You can find me as Rabman50 just about everywhere. And on the first and third Wednesdays of each month, you can join me as we discuss the latest poker books in our book study.
That's it. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. This is going to be a fantastic episode tonight. Like I say, I'm excited to be welcoming Shimpei Adachi into the room here. First of all, I just wanted to say how cool it is to meet another well, you and I, we're both in Ontario right now. We're making it work. This is fantastic. I feel like I got a new poker neighbor.
Exactly. So yeah, when I was doing one of your crew, Sasha Sutton interview, we had 14 hours time differences. So it was quite a difficult to set a schedule. I think it was morning for me when she was like, enjoying afternoon little tea or something.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing, the logistics. I mean, what a world we live in. This is episode 561 of the podcast. And like so many of these, we're interviewing cool people like yourselves. Sometimes they're halfway around the world. We're lucky to be living in a time when we can make it happen for as easily as we do. Let's talk a little bit about your poker journey. So you've covered a lot of interesting territory. I was reviewing your bio, and Sasha had some great things to say about you as well. I love, starting with the bankroll challenge, getting involved in different kinds of games and different kinds of formats. Tell me a little bit about. We'll talk about some of your success and some of your recent stuff soon. But tell me a little bit about sort of your experience of falling in love with poker.
Okay, so the first I discovered poker back in 2006, I watched a movie called 007 Casino Royale, and many people probably saw that. And for me, the James Bond was always Pierce Brosnan. Maybe some of the audience probably different, but for me, it was. And when I saw a Casino Royale and a new Bond, everything is new, and there was a lot of poker scenes in the movie, and that was first exposure for me about poker, like how you can manipulate people with their mind and how much mental toughness you need. And even the someone like Bond, he struggled, and that was something that intrigued me. But obviously, you understand the culture of Japan, and poker wasn't really popular back then. And time moved forward, and back in 2010, I moved to Toronto, Canada, for 6 months to study English. And the first 1 month, I was staying at the someone's house in a homestay. And obviously, you can imagine in a North American home, there's a 200 plus channel on the TV. So I was just going through the TV channel, and I stumbled upon high stakes poker. I don't know which season was it, but classic lineup: Daniel Negreanu, Gus Hansen, Patrick Antonius, Phil Ivey, all the legends. And there you go. the poker, and it just got me. And after that, I signed up to Poker Stars, and that was my start.
And I'm just going to shout out to our YouTube audience here for a second. If you've got any questions for Shimpei, just type them into the YouTube chat there. And of course, we're also going to be playing Stake Study Stack later in the show with Shimpei. So I'd love for our YouTube audience to start entering some famous poker players' names so that we can play along with that. And I'll also just encourage our YouTube chatters to stick around to the end of the show. Every week, we give away a prize as part of our food bank raffle to help raise awareness for the fight against food insecurity around the world. So stick around to the end of that, but get those questions in for Shimpei. So yeah, it's funny. I think there's so many of us found a love for poker out, in a movie or in a story, and then see something like that fantastic program on TV and get kind of hooked on like the intrigue and the pressure people are applying, and that, like, it's a very cool game. Like,
Yeah,
you
it
can
is.
see why outsiders get this sense of like it is a cool pastime.
Yeah. And I think
Why
that the
do you?
big
No,
difference
please,
in
please.
North American is the you already have the culture of doing home games. You play poker with your brothers or fathers and kins and all the family poker game, and you have certain culture embedded, but we don't. So something like the movie or even like a YouTuber nowadays, it's such a huge impact, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to talk to you about that because it's a very different situation in Japan.
Yeah.
What, how much of that is based around just the lack of the cultural landmarks in time to sort of put poker in front of the population, and how much of it is sort of just like over here, it gets lumped in with these other gambling games, and people get kind of disapproving about it from that point of view as well. Is it both or a mix or just one or the other? What do you think?
Oh, well, absolutely. The first off is because gambling is illegal. It's extremely harsh Japanese government how they treat the gambling aspect of the game, and poker is one of them. And they started to look into more poker
Hmm.
as poker got popular last 2 3 years. I would say last 2 3 years is a pinnacle of how a Japanese poker scene changed because of the during COVID, a lot of people staying home and I think watch a lot of YouTube. And during a
Hmm.
time, a lot of YouTuber popped up and they went to casinos. They filmed their hands or play online poker, and that was something that double-edged sword because it got popular, but also we're facing a certain restriction, and it's
Hmm.
only gets harder because uh, Japanese government approved to open official first casino in Osaka, which is the second biggest city in Japan, and it's planned to open in 2029. But I'm doubting it's gonna be delayed, so maybe 2030. But because of that, lot of the Japanese regulations trying to put the pressure on unregulated poker site or
Hmm.
even like small poker rooms, which exist all over Japan now. So I do think that it's going to be tough for the Japanese scene for the next few years. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's always interesting when you have a big established group that they're going to have like a license for something. Then I find there's this kind of split where they don't want a lot of competition for that, so they tamp down on all the unofficial games in the area. But it does kind of bring it forward in a way that is legal, which is good in the long term, because now there's the precedent for having a legal game in town, and I can see that being a movement in the right direction at least. Is there tell I mean, so how do you play poker in Japan then? Is it in underground games? Is it, I
Okay.
mean, yeah, so tell me
Yeah.
if you can, tell me a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah, of
about
course, of course.
yeah.
I'm all for that. So during December and January, I went back to Japan and see what's like in poker in Japan, and there are few ways. And the first one is complete legal poker room, which is more of what Sasha probably said is a pub poker kind of thing.
Yeah,
There's no,
okay.
you buying for the tickets or chips, and you cannot exchange any monetary value, which is the most legal way. And there are many of the places like that. And another way it is illegal, but I would say it's a gray still area is online poker, which
Mhm.
still booming. A lot of GG Poker, Poker Stars, a lot of main poker site is operating in Japan, and a lot of people play that. And third is, well, let's go all the way to the last, which is probably you find some like a room with a yakuza and like a completely, super illegal, like, and a bloodshed and everything. But
Yeah, for
that's, I
sure.
have, yeah, I have no idea what's going on over there, but it probably exists. So the last one I would say is very recently, out the last October or so, one of the a big a group that they host poker room in Japan introduced certain ways to trans exchange the chips into actual money. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
they use certain like a crypto-ish something. They buy a chips, they exchange to web coin, and web
Hmm.
coin exchange to Japanese yen. So it's like three ways, kind of trying to maneuver around the law. And that's only applied to cash games. And in terms of tournament, because of the Japanese law, they can kind of maneuver around. So there's a lot of poker tournament. You can buy in and you can get the actual money out of
Hmm.
it. Yeah. So the
Okay.
tournament is like one of the most popular. I would say like 90% of people play tournament in Japan now.
That's really interesting. And I think for the cash ones, that's sort of like we've seen similar setups in other online clubs where it's like, oh no, we're just playing for free chips, but if you want to take those chips over here, maybe you can get some money for them, but we're not affiliated with them. So yeah, humans are gonna human. We're gonna find our ways. We're gonna find our ways around it. Chris, did you have something?
Yeah, I just want to jump in and ask a little bit more about the poker scene. I mean, one of the things that I've noticed, just as a fan of the WSOP, and I watch a lot of the final tables, and it seems to, and I've been doing it for many years, and it does seem to me that there are more and more Japanese players showing up. There's more and more Japanese players having really deep runs and great success at the series. And so I wonder, given the fact that it's kind of hard to play from what you're describing, where you think where's the interest growing, and what's sort of building that? Is it? I know there's a lot of is it the YouTubers kind of sensation kind of thing?
Yeah, I
Is
think
that the
so.
big thing?
I do think so. A lot of YouTubers, and also again, a lot of people have success in the WSOP last few years, and some people get the actual bracelet too, and that gets big news in Japan and all over the poker scenes, and people try to follow that. So it's a good cycle right now that poker gets popular. People join a bigger tournament, they make a success, and they make a huge stories, and a lot of people trying to follow. So I think that's what's happening right now.
So you've had an interesting life. You've been involved in jujitsu. You got involved in FIFA. You obviously have these passions and hobbies that you like to pursue and enjoy. And you're not a professional player. You remain a recreational player. And so what's your day job? How do you sort of keep food on the table while you're indulging in all these fantastic hobbies and interests?
So, uh, I graduated from college back in 2020 in Canada. And after through COVID, I had a really tough time to get the visa because of all the issue. So now in Ottawa, I started to doing the construction work
Mm,
with my friend. So that's my day job right now.
yeah,
I'm just going around and just like fixing hydros now, which
awesome.
is actually completely different because before I come to Canada, I was broadcaster in Japan. I was working for like a radio and TV station, and it's about 4 years.
Mm,
And even though the college degree I have is broadcasting, so this is what I actually do for a living and used to, and what I
yes.
love about. And but now I I fix hydros. It's so funny, yeah.
Well, hey, no, we all take those paths. I'm actually my day job. I work in home construction and home renovation as well.
Oh yeah,
It's
nice traders, yes.
it's good. Keep the hands busy. You got it's
Yeah.
good for the brain, I think too.
And I
Uh,
do think that the next few years, a lot of AI and coming in. So having this skill in my hand is definitely a good thing. I think it's a good
that's
investment
true.
too.
Yeah, you can't be replaced by a robot. So that's good. That's important. I should point out two of the members on the panel here are retired. So they would say that actually, no, you don't have to keep your hands busy. You can just enjoy. Congratulations again, Keith. And Rob's been retired for so long, it's not even exciting anymore. But yeah, for the rest of us lugs with day jobs out there, it's a little bit of balance that we enjoy. So now you're kind of taking your broadcasting skills back into the fore here with your YouTube channel.
Yes.
And I know you've already had some success with that. You started it just in February of last year, and then you've monetized it by the summer. Feels like that's all moving in the right direction. Tell us a little bit about the kind of stuff that you produce for YouTube.
Yeah, so the beginning of the YouTube channel, I was planning to do both poker and FIFA, but I realized that the poker has such a huge uh, boom in Japan, and FIFA is always like FIFA. There's too many competition, but like doing a poker channel in Japanese is something that there's not many people. So that's something I found niche. And yes, I was able to monetize in the summer, which was very surprising to me. And beginning of that, I was producing a lot of free strategy contents as well as play and explain. But as the time goes by, I started working, and work gets my, the day life, right?
Yeah.
And editing takes so much time. So nowadays I only do live stream, which is typically 2 hours to 3, and I kind of edit to shorts. And I started focusing on those interviewing the professionals, because again, beginning of my YouTube career, and I was also active on X. And what I was doing is translating.
You can call it Twitter. It's okay. We all know it's still Twitter. That's
Twitter.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I was a lot of time I was translating
sure
foreign professional poker players, what they're saying and what's the information about it. But now there's a lot of Japanese people starting doing that because it's easy, and there's a lot of the program to do the translating. So I switched to doing interviewing professional poker players, and the latest episode was Sasha Sutton, and it's been great. I love what I do, interviewing people, and it's actually helps Japanese community and all the poker community as well. So.
Yeah, good for you, man. That's great. Well, it sounds like you're moving everything in the right direction, and I love that we can be growing the game in as many new countries as possible. I won't mention anything about them in case they're not supposed to be doing it, but we have a couple players from Japan in our online home game club that we play for free for play money on Poker Stars. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm not going to say their name because I don't want to get them in trouble if they shouldn't be doing it. But it always warms my heart when I get to call them out as a winner in our home game series.
As long as it's home game, it should be fine because they don't buy in, right? Actual
no money. All you can win are these fantastic pins. That's the only thing.
That's great.
They're free. Yeah,
but home game is completely legal. So
okay, good. All right, well then J-May USA, congratulations on all your success at our home game club. So that's good. I'm glad to hear it. But yeah, I thought that was so cool. We we've been doing this podcast since 2016, and seeing people join from all around the world, and seeing the podcast take off in different countries and getting members from different countries playing in the home game club, it really feels like we've created sort of like tapped into like a real worldwide community of amateur recreational poker lovers, and it does feel like it's a cool game. Like it should be a popular game. It should be taking off. We just need more governments to get their act together. Frankly, there's all these like okay, don't get me on my soapbox. We'll talk about that another time. But yeah, too many different jurisdictions and regions with their own stupid rules for what's gambling and what isn't. Yeah, well,
at least Ontario regulated, so it's a good
Now, had you play mostly online?
Yes.
And I guess you've been playing in Ontario for a while. Were you playing before they geofenced it?
Yes, I did.
And what kind of like MTTs?
Cash mainly.
Oh yeah, okay, great. So I also play a lot of cash, and I find that the geofencing hasn't really been much of a problem for cash players because you can only get 9 people around the table anyway. Some of the MTT fields are a lot smaller, I know, playing on Poker Stars, but if that's not your if that's not your discipline, then that's not much of an issue.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the play of your opponents. So you've played lots of different sites. You've played different stakes as you've moved up, and you did your bankroll challenge and that kind of thing. As you start playing in different player pools, how important is it to sort of know what mistakes those players are making so that you can exploit them? And how important is it to just play your game and not worry about getting too out of line? Because I think the people at 1 cent, 2 cent are making different mistakes than the players at 50 cent a dollar. And so how do you adjust your play from player pool to player pool, or do you?
Like a first question, like I think that's the most important things from micro stakes to mid stakes, even somewhere in 100, even 200. I only play a little bit, but I think it's most important thing is to adjust to the poker players, because every time I watch a podcast or poker pros advice, even the highest stakes level, they don't play so-called GTO. They
Right.
don't do that. So the first thing is it's most important things, and second thing is even the stakes, not even stakes, different sites has a different tendencies. So even before the Ontario regulation, I was playing a Unibet for a long time,
Mhm.
and Unibet on Sunday night is crazy because a lot of gamblers, they probably bet on the sports bet, and they guess join the poker because they're bored. And when you think about that tendencies, those people who don't know how to play poker, they are not going to join 1 cent, 2 cents, because they want only want to
Right.
see big numbers move around. So I found it's interesting that during that time, NL50 and NL100 was softer than NL25, because
Mhm.
NL25 a lot of tight grinders, and NL50 and NL100 I didn't check the NL200, but those times people just go nuts. So, and if you're playing those situation, and if you playing so-called your game, you're missing so much EV, because
Mm.
if the guy's open jamming every single hands, you're not gonna fold. Like, yeah, so you have to adjust. So yeah, I would say so.
And you've kind of started in the game, stepped away, come back. You've seen poker in various phases over the last decade and a half. How do you study? How do you get your game better now that you're trying to be a more serious player and make this more of a focus in your life?
So when I started, there's no GTO.
Right.
There's only pot odds and only equity calculation. But now there's so many tools. And I think Keith was saying that, that he you explain a lot of tools, right? He knows the
Yes.
tools. Yes. And now there's a lot of tools available. I use GTO Wizard Trainer. So I do a drilling and I get to the spot, and how'd you say? Get heuristics. Get
Yes.
yourself into the motions, and at certain times, and when you do it so long, you don't have to think about certain flops. You know what it is. So that's my main way. And other is probably watching videos. A lot of contents out there, especially YouTube. Like you can get a really solid advice and information out of YouTube for free, which probably would cost you $500 to $2,000 in 5-10 years ago. So
Yep.
that's how I study. Yeah.
That's great. And how do you, we all talk about this sort of like finding time to play, finding time to study with working lives and family lives. Do you have like a routine for I study this time of day, I play on these days? How do you approach sort of that element of balancing poker in an otherwise rich, full life?
So the playing and the volume was always the issue for me. Like I always had not able to put the volumes. So that's
Mm.
the one of the reason why I started a YouTube channel, because it's kind of
Mm.
commitment, and every
Yeah.
week I have to show up. So that's the contract that I put myself with. That's the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and that's why there's no set the time for studying or playing. I'll play at least this much, and if I have more time, I'll start playing. And if I don't want to sit down and play, then I'll watch something or yeah, I watch YouTube. And because I quit social media and during the COVID, and I shed off a lot of information. So every time I go on YouTube, only thing that I see is poker, jujitsu, UFC, and soccer. So my even like a leisure time is all the information coming in. So
Yeah, let's talk about jujitsu a little bit. That's a
okay,
kind of a cool off ramp here to talk about some of this kind of stuff. How do you get so you're a blue belt?
yeah,
I mean, I guess everyone starts small when it
yeah.
comes to martial arts. You come in, you know nothing, you build yourself up. How long did it take you before you felt like you were comfortable with your skills enough to be able to sort of compete in that?
Compete in jujitsu or random people?
Yeah, good question. Both. I want an answer for both. Give me an answer
Okay,
for
so
both.
the first 6 months, I felt that I can kind of control if some random average Joe is trying to fight me, and I can just do
Yes.
something. And competing, I think 1 year or 9 months or something like that. I competed in a white belt. So there's
Mm,
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. There's 5 ranks: white belt, blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, and black belt.
okay.
And usually it takes 1.5 to 2 years to get the blue, 3 years from blue to purple,
Mm,
and two to purple to brown, another two to brown to black. So it takes 10 years to get from white belt to black belt. So I would say the competing wise, 1 year to year and a half. Yeah. I got my blue belt after a year and a half. So which was I was a little quicker. But
sounds
also I
like it.
was
Yeah.
yeah, but I was also in the dojo for like four times a week. It was very close to my home, so I was doing that.
It feels like one of those things that, like poker, you can sort of pick up a few skills pretty easily, and then it gets hard. And then like the law of diminishing returns kicks in.
Yeah.
Like I find. So what are some of the common mistakes? Like you said, after 6 months or so, you feel like you can kind of handle your average Joe Blow.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what are some of the stupid mistakes that like they're going to make that make them easier for you to handle than a typical well-trained martial artist?
I would say they don't understand the range. Like what's the
Mm.
not the poker range, but like distance
Yeah, yeah.
management. Yeah. Exactly.
I like that.
And
Range is going to apply to both, but yeah, no, okay, yeah,
yeah,
distance range, got it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also like when I learned jujitsu, actually learning poker uh really helped me because I
Mm,
understood the importance of the fundamentals and also how hard to retain certain skills because poker, even if you learn something, you can't apply it right away. And same
mm-hmm,
things happen in
mm-hmm.
jiu-jitsu. You see the movement, you see the instructors, but can you do it alive in the situation? Like everything's, the other guy's trying to choke you and you're trying to do a certain move. Like, not really. So that's something that helped me to learn. But to answer your question, uh, probably they're just really unaware of how they use the body, how to stand. You can't just like move around like this. You have to have a certain the stance. So I think that's the one that
Yeah, the
when I see.
the the fundamentals, right? Like people don't appreciate how important that kind of stuff is. Like having, in this one, balancing your weight properly, and like supporting yourself and knowing how far your arm actually does extend in front of you, and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Um, so what are some corollaries taking it back to the poker world then? What are some of the so you play online? Poker Stars is not anonymized, so you get the same players again and again.
Mhm,
You can
mhm.
recognize them, take notes on them. Do you use Poker Tracker or any kind of
Uh,
aid like that to track your hands?
I use Hold'em Manager 3.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I do take notes very, very religiously. And
Mm,
even when I let's say try new stakes or anything, I do scouting before even I sit down. Because if there's 6, 7, 8 tables, and if the guy is playing 4 tables right now, the guy is probably regular side. So I just take the color coding, like probably regular. And also if I see a guy with short stacks, like weird stacks, like let's say a 68 big blind or something is sitting there, probably recreational. So I just gonna take the mark so that I know which table is more profitable, like even before I sit down.
Yeah, I like that. They used to let you search for players because I had a similar if I was going to sit down, I searched for every player, and if they were on 3 or more tables, they got a light blue tag. And until I learned more about them, I would at least know that they were multi-tabling, and that could tell me something about them. Um, what are some other actions that players can take that demonstrate to you, oh, this person needs to get tagged with a certain color, or this person is, I'm going to put them in this box in my mind. What are some of the ways that you like to decide what kind of player someone is when you're only playing with them online?
First, limping. And if the guy limps, yeah, it's just, one thing that you can just mark. And another thing is overcalling from small blind, but it is GTO approved in certain situation. Let's say a UTG opens, and you can a certain frequency that you can overcall pocket deuces or threes, because big blind cannot squeeze very easy because of the against the UTG range. But in the situation like that, let's say MP opens, cutoff calls, button calls, NSB calls, and something like that, it just kind of shows the tendency of the passive side. So I do that. And also sometimes the weird open ranges, not ranges, open sizes, 3.5, 4, something like that. It's a bigger size. And three betting small and out of position is also something that I make it.
Yeah, sizings. I think that's huge.
Yes.
We leave a lot of money on the table. Recreational players leave a lot of money on the table with not being thoughtful about sizings, for sure. That one for sure. Keith, you unmuted. Do you have something?
Yeah. Now that poker is starting to become legal and more popular in Japan, and more so as the future comes in, are there already is there already coaches available in Japan? Is there already Japanese language coaching going on?
Yes, there are. And right now it is interesting time because they're trying to figure out what's the market value. So each one has their own portfolio, like what they won, what kind of experience they have, but there's no set amount, like how much they should be paid. So now they're trying to figure out, yeah.
So it's still an emerging market, but I just think in the coming years there's going to be a global elite player coming out of Japan just because of the primary education that you get, the math education you get, and just the I lived in Japan for 4 years, so I know, and I already feel it coming now.
You see the rising sun, huh?
Yep.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Shinu, what advice would you give to someone who wanted to start in the same way that you have? They're a recreational player, but they want to start streaming, or they want to start a YouTube channel and producing some content. What's one piece of advice that you'd give them to make it easier, or some pitfalls that they can avoid?
The first things I would say is, if you're going to play poker and do YouTube or do everything, do it for the love of the game, not use it as a tool to get you somewhere. And also don't play poker for money, because it's not going to work. And that's the biggest pitfall. I think people, have success, or maybe see someone succeed, and they start counting in your head, oh, if I play this X amount, I might going to have this much money, and next few years I can play Vegas. Not so much. So that's something I would say. And yeah, if you use poker as some other game, let's say Fortnite or something, oh, because it's so boom, and let's stream that, because it's so hard. And even it's not that hard that every other game is hard. It's just a completely different nature because of the variance and how competitive the community is. So you really need to commit if you're going to do that for either YouTube or any other stream, because if you once you start something like that, you want to keep going. So you don't want to just quit right away. So I do wish that if you really love it, go for it. But if you're not so much, then play for a little bit, then move to a streaming side. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good advice. What's one thing that you really love about this portfolio and this aspect of that you've taken on? What's one thing that you love about streaming and making these videos for the fans?
Oh, definitely the connection. I get to connect to people while I'm playing, and I do find myself that when I'm streaming, I play less tilted. I don't call off light. Yeah, there's a certain like seatbelt kind of. Oh, my play is being watched, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of that. It's helping me, but also because if you're playing online, it is quite lonely game. When you're clicking away, listening music, sure, it's relaxing, but if you're grinding, it's kind of uh, hard and sometimes. So like when I have someone on my back, it's always nice. But the
Yeah.
biggest joy that I have is something like this. I get to connect to all the poker lovers in the world. And also I was able to connect someone like professional poker players, North American side to the Japanese community. I get to do this, which I'm proud of. So
yeah, it's definitely the most fun I have all week, talking to my friends here on the poker podcast. And it's a great thing that we've done. Congratulations to you on finding that success. And what are some of what surprised you that you weren't expecting when you started doing it? What was that either about the industry or about the game of poker that you just caught you off guard, you weren't expecting?
yeah, since I started YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, well, how much exposure I got, just one or two strategy videos, because I guess not so much right now, but when I started, it was completely no information out there. Some people just doing it, and when I just started, there are like other couple YouTubers or people who start writing articles about poker strategy, and that got really popular. So nowadays you can find quite a good resource in Japanese, but back then it was zero. So how much reaction and how much support I got was quite surprising, but also the love that I get from other community is also surprising. I just email and a lot of people and can I interview, and they say yes. Oh,
Yeah.
it was great. Yeah.
Yeah, I say this a lot on the show. I've been really impressed with how like open and accommodating and generous a lot of the people in the poker world have been. Not everybody, of course, but like, get 100 dentists or 100 car salesmen in a room and there'll be some assholes in that room too. It's not just poker players. But really surprised me how they're just people, and they like growing the game. And I think that they like that there are people like you out there that are being a good ambassador for the game and creating good content, especially in areas like with the Japanese language, where there just isn't that much material out there. That really puts you at the forefront of Keith really feels like it's a movement there, so that's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Well, another thing that I realized is that you don't really have to be a professional poker player to be the person who advocate and show the love of the game. You can be the recreational and create certain movement or create boom or trend, whatever.
Yeah.
You can as long as you love the game and you put your mind to it, you can make it. So
I think that's true. All right, well, I think we're going to roll into our game of stake, study, stack here in just a second. And I'll just remind our YouTube audience, we'll close the action with our speed round afterwards with Shimpei. And then we're going to give away a prize to help support the fight against food insecurity. So just stick around till the end of the show and get your name entered into a raffle here on the show to win a great prize. But first, Chris Jones, it's time for stake, study, stack. We need some intro music for this or something.
Yeah, I
we
guess
need like
so, right?
Maybe
we'll just have you sing like that every episode.
I think we can do better, Chris. I think we can do
right.
slightly.
Yeah,
let's raise the ceiling on the show a little.
All right. So this is a game we call Stake, Study, Stack. You're going to choose one. I'm going to give you a list of 3 names. You're going to tell me one of these people who you'd like to stake in a tournament or cash game, one that you'd like to study with, and one that you just like to take all their chips, just stack them at the table. And I'm going to continue with our theme. I've been looking up some of the top Japanese players in the world. So I've got 3 names for you. And if I butcher the pronunciation, please help me out. But 3 names are Masashi Oya, Suganari Toma, and Masato Yokosawa.
Okay. So, I only personally know one of them, who is Masato Yokosawa, and I would like to stalk him. Because it's very short time, and back in 2014 or 15, we were in a band together. I played drums and he played guitars. Yeah. And we were kind of, close. We play football together to a little bit short time. And after I decided to go to Canada, and we kind of separated away, and we didn't have really much of connection anymore. And when I saw him again, was at the GPI award.
Yep.
Yeah. And he was receiving a award, and I was like, what the heck is going on? Like him receiving awards. And the poker personality award or something. Yeah. And that was it. So I would like to stalk him.
Okay. All right. We got our stacker. That's a good one. I mean, he's kind of blown up in terms of the poker scene and everything. So that's a good one. So who are we studying with, and who are we staking?
I would stake Mr. Oya, I think, because he just recently won a bracelet. And he's the top of the Japanese all-time money list, I think.
Yep.
And yeah, just over 4 million USD or something. Yeah. So definitely,
good choice.
I just gonna stake. And Mr. Toma is, I do believe he is with Natural 8 Professional as a sponsored pro. So yeah, I would like to study with him.
Awesome. Thanks.
There you go.
Great answer. I loved learning that you were in a band with Masato. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for playing along with us. So the last thing we're going to get to here is closing the action with our speed round. So I'm just going to throw a bunch of rapid fire questions at you here. You can say pass. So we're just going to go for quick answers, fast answers. And if it's taking a little long, I'm just going to throw the pass out there too, and we'll move on. Okay. So there's no wrong answers. Now we're going to start with a real easy one, just to make you feel real comfortable here, Shimpei. What is your favorite poker hand?
Nines, pocket nines.
Is poker a gamble or a skill game?
Skilled game.
What's your biggest poker pet peeve?
I don't know what pet peeve means.
Okay, the annoying thing that people do that bothers you while you're playing.
Oh, tanking.
Good one. All right. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yes, 100%. Actually, I watch every single Christmas. Like it's my tradition. It's actually my tradition. Yes.
Fantastic. Is Ace King a drawing hand?
No.
In tournament play, are you pro chop or no chop?
Pro chop.
What's one thing you own that you absolutely cannot do without?
Cell phone?
Sure. What player type are you?
Quite aggressive.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Sandwich.
Should vacations be lazy or busy?
Lazier.
There's a yellow light coming up. Slow down or speed up?
Slow down.
What's one thing that if you had it, you would be truly happy?
The genie's ramp. The
lamp. Yeah. I love it. The genie's lamp. I love it. What is your favorite color?
I don't have any.
Oh, that's interesting. When family holidays, go back in time to when you were a kid. What's your favorite meal that you have around the family holidays?
Oh, I would say curry rice, Japanese curry rice, but which I make it so.
Oh, all right, nice. All right, then last question here, and you're doing great so far. This one you can take a little time if you want to answer. It's not technically part of the speed round. What's one thing that the poker world needs to do differently?
Let's rake.
Yep. Okay, nailed it. Nailed it. Hey, Chris, we do need some sound effects for this, I think. We need some like TikTok music, maybe
Yeah.
an intro, like a ding or something like
Or like
that.
Mission Impossible kind of,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that could be the next generation
Yeah,
of Eric
I
Jin's
agree.
program.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Okay, we're gonna workshop that. So great work. I'm just doing some quick math here. I got you at 751 points. That's pretty good. 751. Fantastic. So thank you for playing with us and thanks for coming on the show. Shimpei, this was a really fun interview. I knew it was going to be, but I had a really fun time talking to you, neighbor. Maybe I'll
Yes.
see you. Maybe I'll see you in the Six Max tables
Which sticks do
on
you play?
PokerStars here. I just wherever, whenever.
Okay.
I'm still annoyed they don't do full ring here in Ontario anymore on
Ah.
PokerStars. I can only see. I'm an old man. I like the comfort of being able to just fold a lot, wait for premiums in position. You know, that's how I
Yeah.
like to do it.
Yeah, if you
But
see me, my username is ShiniPokerYT. So if you see me.
all right, I'm Bluff Storini, so I'll keep an eye out. Hopefully, we'll see you,
Okay.
and we can stack each other, and then we.
Yeah.
When next time you come on the show, hey,
Yeah.
next time you come on the show, we'll do a forums edition based on one of the hands that we played together or something like that.
Yeah.
That sounds really
Or
good.
even we can play right now, like
Yeah.
face to face. Are you
Yeah.
playing? Maybe not.
Well, hey, you know, we won't do this on the air, but we'll connect offline and talk about some ways that we could get together and have some fun because we do those kinds of activities here, and we do a lot of fun like play and learn stuff with our members. With the camera and that kind of stuff. So you never know. You might not have seen the last of Shimpei Adachi here over at RecPoker.
Probably.
Where can folks get a hold of you? What would be the best way for them to connect with you? What's the hottest link that you could possibly drop on the show for folks to get more Shimpei Adachi in their life?
So Twitter X is ShinnyPoker, ShinnyPoker. And even YouTube too, ShinnyPoker, and even Twitch or Instagram, ShinnyPoker. So if you look up ShinnyPoker, you'll find me.
Fantastic, and I'll also put a link on the to the YouTube channel there for any folks that are fluent in Japanese and want to get more involved. I think that's so cool. And I guess for everyone else, we're gonna start typing the words food bank into the YouTube chat here. We'll start doing our raffle right after we say goodbye to Mr. Adachi. Thank you so much, sir. This was a pleasure. Reach out anytime. Good luck on the felt, and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, and I'll stay here till the end.
But okay.
Yeah, it's lovely. And
that's fine. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
You're going to learn about.
Yeah, when you mentioned that that my YouTube channel is not only Japanese, as I said before, Sasha Sutton, she's gonna be on the interview, and there's another couple people. Tommy Angelo, the one, and Daryl Carney, who is Unibet Poker's sponsored pro. I interviewed them, so all the English speakers also enjoy the show.
Great, thank you. Good clarification. And boy, some good guests there. I mean, Sasha's obviously fantastic. Dara is also a member of the Wrecking Crew here. He's been a great influence on our members and a fantastic friend of the show. And Tommy Angelo, who can say a bad thing about Tommy? He's been on the show a couple times and such a great influence in the poker world. So good for you, man. And yeah, I retract my statement. Everyone go check out the YouTube channel. It's not just for Japanese language experts. You'll find something fun there. Thank you for that correction. And yeah, stick around, man. Get comfortable. We're going to talk about some home game results, talk about some upcoming events. I see some people are starting to type the words food bank into the YouTube chat. John Somsky, why don't you give them a couple minutes to get that all wrapped up by talking about some recent home game results, and we can see who's won some pins recently.
Well, first we'll start on February 7th. We had the second installment of the 2023 National or No Limit Hold'em Championship Series, and Kelly S. 1962-20, Kelly Stork won her first No Limit Hold'em Championship Series for the year. This also propelled her into first place for the Player of the Year race, although it should be noted that last month's winner, PetBet, Kim Kilroy, was not able to play this time. So it didn't, it wouldn't have taken many points to even that out there. So, but again, only your top 10 scores count, so you can miss a couple of games and you can still be in the hunt for the victory there.
And yeah, so just to be clear, this is on the first Wednesday of every month, and you can still get in March, and your having missed January and February won't count against you. It's not too late to get involved in the Player of the Year. And congratulations to Kimberly Kilroy and Kelly Stork for winning in January and February. That's nice to start the year off with a couple fantastic ladies in poker showing us all who's boss. So congrats, way to go.
And then February 5th, John Lancer got his first nightly victory for the year. Ship and Flip Wreck, Luke O'Driscoll got his first nightly victory for the year. Larson's Opening, George Borden won his first international victory. Apple O' My Eye, Harold Berry also got an international victory. And Mike B, 172, Mike Bear, won the LPP event. So he can contact info at rec.poker for his free month at Learn Pro Poker.
That's right. Congratulations. As you know, if you play the home games, they're all free, but the prizes are real. It's not just these fantastic looking pins, but if you play on Sunday, you can also win a free month at Learn Pro Poker. Send that email to info@rec.poker and let's get you all sorted out. Chris, I only see 3 lucky people in the YouTube chat that want to win a prize this week. How is that possible? We've got way more than that watching live, but only 3 have typed YouTube. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Shinny knows what's up. He's getting in there.
They should be typing their names in. Let's go. Or type type food bank in the chat. Let's go.
You're running out of time. I see Jim West, and Jim, welcome to the show. The RRRCCC, an old standby. Stuart Carriage, one of our premium members, fantastic guy. And Shimpei himself jumping in there. So that's 4 to my count. And that's the order that I see them.
25% equity, right? It's
pretty good, right?
It's pretty darn good.
Yeah. It's like, I don't understand. These are all poker fans here in the YouTube chat. They don't understand what a free roll is. I mean, come on, you got to get in there. All right, I think we got 5. They're making your math harder and harder, Chris.
Okay.
Luckily you've got all these different nerdy dice. How do you want to handle this?
This just gives me the boxcar, and I think if we roll a 6, why don't I, since Joe isn't here, why don't I do it? So if we roll a 6, for every 6 we roll, I will donate $20 to our local food bank. All right.
What a fantastic idea.
Since you're running it, I'll be Joe this week. So you roll, I pay.
All right.
How about that?
Every 6 we want 6s. Otherwise,
we want 6s
in order,
even more than we did before.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Run in the order.
Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Let's see who the winner's going to be.
It's a 3.
Okay, that is Stu Carriage. All right, congratulations, Stu. You know the drill. You're already a RecPoker Premium member. So you've won a free month at Learn Pro Poker or pokercoaching.com or the Poker Forge or Tournament Poker Edge or a number of our other fantastic learning partners. You're going to love getting more involved in the poker community. Like we were saying at the beginning of the show when Shimpei was talking about sort of like the outreach that he's gotten from people in the industry. These people want to help. That's why they started these fantastic organizations, and they've been great friends to RecPoker to let us give away some prizes to help make the poker world a better place. So, Stu, you lucky dog, send that email to info@RecPoker, and we'll get you all set up. I heard a crazy rumor that Marek Madness was starting up. That's right around the corner. We have a slight revision to the broadcast schedule. At this point, we're looking at Tuesdays this year. We're going to be broadcasting the matches live on Twitch at twitch.tv/RecPoker on Tuesday nights in March, and with the finale happening in the first week of April. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope people have a chance to come and join us for that. We're going to have some fun guests. We're going to have a great time, and we're going to square off against each other and see who is the Marek Madness winner over here in 2024. Keith, Rob, John, Chris, what else? Is there anything else that we should be mentioning coming up? I know, Rob, you've been making great work in the book study. I don't think we have a new book coming up anytime soon, but
we could be. We're cruising through this one. So
okay,
I'm thinking that sometime either the first Wednesday of March or the second Wednesday of March would be a good time to have Alex back on the show to do a Q&A with him. We're getting
Perfect.
pretty close to the end of this book. So yeah, we're
Awesome.
going to be going into chapter what chapter was it? I can't even remember now.
That's okay. You don't have to worry about that till Wednesday. You just enjoy that retired life down there.
Yeah,
in,
we're going to do it on Valentine's Day just so everybody, you know, husbands and wives, boyfriends
That's
and
right.
girlfriends can
Learning
all get together
Yeah.
and study poker. I mean, what a
What
romantic
could be more
thought.
romantic than that?
That's
Yes.
exactly. It's like just team building. Poker bringing us closer together. I see it.
We'll just
I see
call
it,
you
Rob.
Cupid from now on, Rob.
All right, well, that's great. Well, we'll get Alex Assassinato Fitzgerald coming back to do a Q&A with our members at the end of the book study. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, well, I guess that's it. Let's just wrap this puppy up. Shinny, thank you again, man. This has been awesome, and I can't wait to talk to you again sometime soon. I really want to thank the Running Aces Hotel, Racetrack, and Casino for their fantastic sponsorship. I'll say, if you're listening to this right now, if you're live, you've still got a month. I screwed up the dates there. The Pot of Gold tournament from March 13th to 17th is right around the corner. That's a $360 buy-in, and that one's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be heading back to Running Aces sometime this summer. I think August is when we're looking at, so I can't wait for that. So thank you, Running Aces Hotel, Racetrack, and Casino. Thank you to Keith Brandt, John Somsky, Rob Washam, Chris Jones, once again, our fantastic guest, Shimpei Adachi, everyone in the YouTube chat, and you, the listeners at home. We wouldn't get out of bed if it wasn't for you making it all happen. So thanks for the love, and thanks for listening to another week of the RecPoker Podcast.
ありがとうございました。さようなら。